Hello folks, welcome to some more Hobby Nightmares. Hopefully you're having a good day, hopefully things are going well for you, and if they're not, then maybe sit back, have a chill, and listen to the spew that's going to be coming out of my mouth over the next half an hour to an hour as we discuss all things nightmarish in the hobby. Right, let's jump in, shall we? If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below, all that good stuff, let's go for it. Isaiah says, "Howdy North from North America, and you can call me Isaiah." Okay, I have done. "I was wondering what general advice you'd have for dealing with this kind of player. Some general info about our gaming group. It's moderate size with about 6 usuals and 10 or so people who come and go as they please. And we all play at a gaming bar, so it's pretty casual and a fun location with a semi-competitive list and tactics." Okay. "The player I'm referring to is a bit of a crybaby, who can win and not be an a-hole. He cannot lose a game without constant bitching, even complaining whilst winning sometimes. It seems no matter how a game goes, he always has something to say about how his dice rolls are terrible, his opponents are amazing, his units and army rules suck, and opponents' units are undercosted or way too strong. I've told him in the past that he isn't really fun to play with, and he complains the whole game, and he agreed and said that he would work on it." Well, that's good. That's more than what you usually get from people in Hobby Nightmares. "And he did for a time, but has gone back to his old ways. It's gotten to the point where we had some newer players come in, and they said they just don't want to play with him anymore. Luckily, they stuck to the hobby and still come to play, they just avoid this guy like the plague. I never really minded playing him too much because A, I just love getting a game in, and B, it's a bar, so I'm usually drunk, and I'm a pretty chill guy in general, and when drinking, I'm as happy as a clam, so it doesn't bother me. C, he is new to Warhammer, as of 10th edition, but he does have a good tactical mindset and plays the game rather well. And D, maybe more of an indicament of my character, but I find it really funny to win when I know he'll take it too seriously and get really angry." Okay. That's a toxic combination right there. "I only really got annoyed recently when I played him in an Onslaught game and my guard super heavy went apeshit and started picking up multiple units a turn. By turn 2, he was talking about conceding whilst going on his usual rambling about how bad his units are, and mine are way too good, and we can't roll dice to save his life, etc, etc. He ended up conceding halfway through turn 3, leaving me to hang out at the shop for another few hours, whilst my friend finished his kill team game. How we got to turn 3 on an Onslaught game, and my friend takes 5 hours to do one kill team game, will always melt my mind. Luckily, a guy who wanted to get into the game was there, and I always keep Space Marines in my case, so I was able to give that dude a combat patrol demo, and I had something to do. So I guess, how would you handle this dude? Like I said, he's generally a pretty nice kid. He plays the game well, doesn't talk down to people, shows up every week on time ready to play, and he is very eager about the game. I just feel he hasn't lost enough in life to know how to take it on the chin and let the dice fall where they may. For our game group, we more or less just shrug it off and make some jokes about him over a beer when he leaves, but like I said earlier, some even newer players just don't play him, and it's never good to have any friction in the gaming group. Any advice would be helpful. As always, thank you for the channel, it's very entertaining." Cool. You did give me a picture of your Shadowsword too, which I kind of wanted to put on because it looked pretty cool. Let me just go down here. I think it is... Huh. There you go, found it. It is a nice Shadowsword, to be fair. Let me just save that down there. And on the old desktop. And get it over here, so you can see the lovely camo job on the Shadowsword. There it is. Look at this. Damn, son. That's a good looking Shadowsword. I love the mud. I think the mud is brilliant. You've done a really good job with that. That's an insane job. That's really well done. And the camo, very nice. Absolutely, very, very, very nice. In fact, there'll be a lot of people who want to get involved and know how to do that look. Very, very, very cool unit. Love it a lot. So, in terms of wanting some advice, in all honesty, dude, I think you're doing the right thing anyway. I really do. I think that you're recognizing that this guy's got some issues, and because he's not the worst of the worst, you play him anyway, and you get on with it, and you have fun, and you don't let it ruin your time. What I would say, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. This is a guy who's not used to losing, or it could be the other thing, or the other way around. All right, it could be a guy who has had his manhood and his self-worth challenged at every single opportunity when he was younger. It's one of two things. It's either a guy who's never lost before and never had to take it on the chin, or a guy who's lost so many times that he's sick of it. Those are the two, right? Who tend to go like this. And in both ways, they're not really... I don't want to say it's not their fault, because it is. You know what I mean? It is their fault. But at the end of the day, there are different shaping factors that make them into being what they are. And as long as you can recognise that and you're okay with it and you can get on with your game, I'd say you're doing the right thing. Carry on doing what you're doing. If you're okay playing him, fine. Listen, there are guys like this in every hobby group. There's at least one in every hobby group. Just get on with it. If it goes a bit too far, again, feel free to pull him up and have that conversation with him again. So look, we've already spoken about this. Please don't turn away new gamers, or please don't ruin the game for the other person, right? That's not what you're here for. He seems like a reasonable guy. I think you're going down the right track anyway, so I've got no real advice for you, man. I think you're doing the right thing. Alright? Cool. Alfarius says, greetings, North. Omegon's twin here, but you can call me Ishmael. Well, since the last guy was called Isaiah, I'm going to call you Alfarius. Alright. I hope to be the first to drop 3 names. Yeah, because you had Ishmael, Alfarius, and Cain. So I'm going to go with Alfarius, because, you know, the other two, I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to drop a joke here, but couldn't settle on what that joke was going to be, or that it might bomb the most, so we'll skip that until later. Yeah, please. The amount of these that I get, that they start with a joke that just doesn't land. And I'm just like, that makes me feel awkward, makes you feel awkward, makes everybody feel awkward. Provided below is a recount of my most taken aback I've ever been in my life during the hobby. And as it happened, I was the manager of our local game store. This is one of many tales I have from roughly 5 years of service in the hobby. If people enjoy it, there is a saga waiting to pop off here. If not, no worries. I'm still excited to share. Just a heads up as to my writing style. I outright can't spell to save my life. That's just facts. I blame being told to sound out a word to know how to spell it. Then homonyms and phonetics come in like a wet fart in church. This would also be a good point to let you know I may get sidetracked or tangent from time to time, but I do proofread and take the time to walk away and come back when needed. I may switch between a script format or traditional. That being said, before we begin, I would like to ask a few questions and input I would like to throw in right quick. Okay. I will treat this like a 3-wish system. I will ask a question for myself, one for the greater good, and one to let the wish include the genie. Okay. Number 1, is it true that you guys call popsicles cold on the cob? Or guns rooty tooty point and shooty? No, it isn't. I don't know who's told you that, but they're lying to you. I have so many hot takes from listening to all the Hobby Nightmares, so after sitting on it for a moment, I do have one major insight to share. This is advice that can be applied to many things. The rule of thumb is, if you give somebody $20 and you never see them again, it was probably worth the money. Yeah. Yeah, if they're going to run away with your money, $20, yeah, probably worth it. Yep, to get them out your life. Issue is there, Alfarius, my friend, is that they never stay gone, do they? You know? Guys like that will always come back for more. This one is a bit of a pushback on a point that is important to me. I have a thing with crying around my partner. I am male and have no problem letting my moments of weakness take their course. The idea of being stoic is a cornerstone of how to survive in life. However, serenity Serenity now, insanity later. Again, this is just from my position that I have an amazing partner who can step into the role of the strong one. Yeah, well, this is what I mean, man. What I said... Okay, I think what Alfarius is getting at is I said, normally you should probably be the one who's the strong one in the relationship, right? You should probably be the one. Try not to cry in front of your partner. Try not to let too many of those emotions show if life's getting on your back, right? Because most partners out there, especially women, will start to lose respect for you if you start doing that. If you start showing your emotions all the time and losing your shit over tiny things, they're going to start losing respect for you and the relationship isn't going to last. Okay? What I'm going to say to you here, Alfarius, just because you have a unicorn doesn't mean that's the norm. In fact, I had a young lady on, if you're watching this, hello, I had a young lady on my comment section the other day saying to me, like, look, you know, I'm a lady and I don't collect Tyranids, I collect this as a battle. So I feel kind of attacked here. I can't remember if that's what she said, but, you know. And I said, well, yeah, but you're a unicorn. You're so rare. So you can't be that rare and know that you're that rare and then get upset when somebody calls it out and says, that's quite rare. That's really cool that you're into that. But, you know, that's also very rare. Same with you, Alfarius. It's really cool that you've got a really good partner who understands that, you know, you may want to have a little cry every now and again. But that's not the norm. That's not the norm at all, you know? So my advice is valid for most people. Again, this is an internet thing. Everybody on the internet seems to think that everything needs to be acquiesced to them. I don't think you're like this, Alfarius, and young lady, if you're from the other day, I don't think you're like this either, right? But there are a lot of people on my comment section or in the internet or wherever else who think that the universe revolves around them, okay? And if something doesn't apply to them, then it's wrong. Even if they're the only one in the world that it doesn't apply to, they still think it's wrong. Because they don't give a shit about everybody else in the world, they only give a shit about them. Okay? So, yeah, just because you've got a nice woman there, man, it doesn't mean that, you know, that's the norm. I wish there was a happy middle ground between being a snowflake and being a Chad. I think it's healthy to have a cry and to let it go. It is, mate, just not in front of your partner. There is a time and a place for everything. So don't just go Breaking Bad with oversharing or having a mental breakdown in the middle of my cousin's birthday. Not that it has ever happened to me or anything like that. That's just what I mean. Okay, well, I agree. There's a time and a place. The shower for me, if I'm going to have a really bad moment, I'll go and take a shower, I'll get it out of my system, and I'll be fine. And I'm okay. And I come out, and I'm ready to face the day. I'm ready to be there for my partner. I'm ready to make sure that I'm the man, and I'm leading this relationship. I'm her rock. I'm her person that she needs to cling to. I'm there, and I love doing it. I find it so fulfilling. It's such a wonderful thing to be able to do for your partner. And there have been times. Listen, this doesn't mean that it's a one-way street. Okay, there have been times. Recently, I've had serious family issues, and my missus stepped up to the plate, and she was there, and she helped me out, right? But I never let her see my darkest moments. Okay? And when it did start to grate on her, and she started to lose it, because she's a woman, she told me herself, I'm a woman, I'm over-emotional, and I'm starting to lose it with this situation, I pulled her out. I said, no, listen, you're going to stay at home, you're going to get your nails done, you're going to have a nice day to yourself, I'll pay for it, off you go and have a nice day, right? I will sort the rest of this out now, okay? Cool, I'll do it. Thank you so much for getting me this far. I'll do the rest. Why? Because I'm a man, I'm strong, and I handle my fucking business. I handle my fucking shit, right? That's a healthy relationship. She did her bit till she couldn't anymore. Then I pulled her out. I said, no, we're not doing this anymore. You're going to go over there and have a nice time and chill. Because you've done your bit, and I love you for it. Thank you. Now I'm going to sort it out. I'm going to sort this. You know? Anyway. So there is a happy middle ground, dude. I'm living it. I'm living the happy middle ground. Of course I have my emotional moments. Of course I go mental every now and again. But I'll try and make sure I keep it away from my partner. I'll go elsewhere. Especially if I know it's just me and my own bullshit. Alright? I'm going to be honest with you guys. A lot of you are going to say no shit. I'm kind of fucking retarded. Right? You know, I am. Like, I'm not like actually mentally retarded, but you know, I kind of am.
I can't. I'm an idiot, right? I get angry at things I shouldn't get angry at. I shout at inanimate objects if they're not working properly. If I'm plugging something in and I won't plug in, I'm like, fucking plug in! Not every time, but if I'm already having a bad day and something tiny just sends me over the edge and I'm fucking, get in the fucking socket! Cunt! Right, I do that all the time. Not all the time. Like once every a blue moon, right? I'll have a really, really, really big moment where I'm like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck appliances like this, and fuck all y'all. I'll see you later, right? Like once every couple of months, something will just get me. And I'm just, and I'm working it out in therapy as well. I've never been violent to anybody, just off the cuff. I'd never do that. I hate bullies, don't do that. But I need to go and seclude myself, and I do. I go away, I seclude myself, I give myself a couple of hours, and I come back, and I'm ready to go again. But I'm kind of retarded like that. I'm just what I do, right? And I'm not perfect. And I do have these moments where I need to step away from my partner and say, look, I'm going in the shower. I'm going in the shower, or I'm going to go down the gym. I go down the gym, and I punch the absolute living shit out of the punch bags down there. I get out of my system, and I come back, right? And happens all the time. Like not all the time, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very normal for me to take my emotions and say, look, there's nothing wrong with me being vulnerable around my partner. And being like, look, that really hurt me. Or look, that really upset me. That's fine. Okay? But if we're in crisis mode, I won't start crying in front of her because I'm the guy. I sort shit. I fix shit. That's what I do. Okay? That was my point. Moving on. Also, under the assumption that this is going to be one of my one shot at getting a letter read in here is an objective fact, Magnus is absolutely guilty. Dad can't be fucked to hide his gun, and when his kid finds it, fucks around and gets shot. Magnus knew shit was suspect and pulled the trigger on a weapon he couldn't handle. I will die on this hill. Okay? Okay, well, I'm not going to comment on that, because that's your opinion. Since I want to avoid a manifesto right out the gate, I will set the background real quick and get onto it. My story is from the point of when I was a manager of a local game store, as I said earlier. At the time of this story, I had been in big boy pants for about a year and shilling for 4. Our main product in the beginning was Magic the Gathering. I had been vetted and tested to my limits in the service of the unique clientele. The store was a whole floor next to 3 bars, so the spice was pretty real. I have seen such wonders and survived past situations that keep me on the edge. The owner has no spine and would do nothing to protect his guests. He would put off kicking out bums or sticking up to bad people in the store. That shit is a Pandora's box in and of itself. Yeah, you are... A lot of low-level bullies will take your kindness for weakness all the time. I've noticed that in retail. A lot of bums are actually bullies. They're streetwise bullies. And they think you're pretty square, so they'll come into your store and try and take the piss. Alright? Or come into your bar and try and take the piss by selling stolen booze in your bar, right? You grab them by the scruff of the neck and you throw them at the nearest fucking door as violently and as roughly as you can. Say, right, you get the fuck out of here. You ever come back in here, I'll break your shins. Alright? Right, piss off. Go away. That's what you do. Sorry, guys. I know you should be nice to homeless people, and I am. I give money to the homeless whenever I walk past them, but do not come in my place of business, annoying my customers, and taking my kindness for weakness. Don't do that. Don't do that. You'll be out of there quicker than you can say, I don't know, fucking fuckity fuck, right? I don't know. We had an open gaming space in the store, including a cafe and diner booths. We were very open to be inclusive and make sure everybody is having a good time. Safety for my guests and clients is important, and even more so when in a bad area. I have no problem commanding a room with my voice. My frame is 6'2", 220-ish pounds, and shaped like a rectangle. Putting on a face is kind of easy. Fake it till you make it, as they say. When somebody pulls a knife, there is a fight, freeze, or flee response. I choose to do a nice hybrid of freezing and stepping up to the challenge kind of a thing. For those of you who think you can do this, do a few dress rehearsals with a friend first maybe. If not, be okay with getting the fuck out of there. This story takes place on a random night when things were fairly chill. A few were playing D&D and a few were playing Commander. I was working the front desk. That is to say, not at all, and fucking off to yell at someone streaming Magic in front of the TV. Around closing time, 2 girls approached the desk, looking a bit sheepish. I knew it was a problem before anything was said. The moment, you just know. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Yeah, from somebody who's been in retail, especially in Games Workshop, the look of like, hi, haha, you know something's going on. So I dismissed my employee and told the time vampires to hit the bricks. Once we had a bit of privacy, they had informed me that a dude was making advances and would not listen to or take no for an answer. I got them calm enough to tell me the whole story. This dickhead was trying to pull off kisses and putting his hand on unconsenting knees. As they went into detail, my rage had made everything a bit fuzzy for a second. When I came back to, I asked what he was wearing. I then grabbed our intercom to announce to the store that I would like to see the kid in the described outfit at the front desk, please. The kid rolls up, looking like a white trash M&M stan. As he rolls up with the attitude of as if nothing was wrong, I asked him if the accusations were true, also reminding him the cameras that are about the store and that he was likely a star of. Much to my surprise, he admitted his actions. This is a rare occurrence in life, let alone a local game store, so I inform him that he is no longer welcome at the store and he should be on his way. The kid claps back at me with, "Can't I just get a warning? Dude, can I have a pass this one time?" This will be burned into my brain forever. The only way to describe it would be the scene in the Avengers when the lady punched the soul out of the Hulk. Super surreal and no gravity kinda. I could not believe the balls on this kid. For a moment, reality and time did not exist. Just to be sure, I asked them to repeat the request. When provided the same response, I calmly stepped out of my chair, then to my desk, down off the floor and onto the other side. I continued on without saying a word. Then, as if an autopilot, my body went into work. Grabbing him by the collar, I dragged him out the front door and gently shoved him to the ground out of the back door. I apologised to the ladies for being aggressive when ejecting him from the store. They were nice and understanding, and I ended up sending an employee out with a coffee and playing games with them for the rest of the night. At the end of the night, they thanked me and set off home. I figured it would be fun to share one of my greatest memories from the dark ages of managing a game store. Magic the Gathering is my Vietnam. God, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Thanks for taking the moment to read, and all the best. Alright, man, it was a bit heroic there. I mean, I don't know whether you were actually... Listen, I read a lot of these, okay? And I choose, quite a lot of the time, to be... Not the word understanding isn't right. It's more like, I choose to give you the benefit of the doubt. So I'm going to here. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you were that heroic and you were that, cool and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. Most White Knight stories, I tend to take with a pinch of salt. The only thing missing from that story was, and then I ended up dating both the girls for a time. You know what I mean? That was the only thing that was missing there. But I'm going to come down on your side and say that happened, because why would you take the time to... I'm not a big YouTube channel. You're not going to get a lot of props on this YouTube channel, right? So why would you take the time to write something like that and send it in, unless it happened? That's how I look at it. If Chapter Master Valrak or Wes Hammer or something like that, somebody with that reach and that pull, if they did Hobby Nightmares, then I would understand a lot of people are going to write in a lot of bullshit to get internet clout. I don't have that big of a platform yet. So yeah, I don't see why people would write in and do shit like that. And if they did, then, well, at least we got some entertainment out of it and it was a good story, but I'd still rather it be the truth, if you could help it. But I'm going to take your side there and say that it was the truth. I think you did the right thing. At the end of the day, I would be very... Okay, so whenever you're trained in bars, at least in the UK, you are told very, 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 up front that if a woman comes to you and complains about somebody's behaviour, you need to take in everything that's going on. If the woman looks genuinely shaken, and like something has happened, then you need to go and figure out what's going on and maybe get the guy out of there for both people's sakes, right? You don't assault him. You just get him out the pub, right? And as soon as you see the guy and how he acts around other people, you'll probably be able to know if it's true or not. I know it sounds weird, but if you walk around a corner and a guy's doing similar things to other women, or is like being a dickhead to the blokes around him, you kind of know, yeah, okay, I agree, I actually believe that it's happened, right? It's very dangerous though, but if you get a woman coming up to you in a bar, and you're running a bar, and she's giggling, saying, hey, this guy just won't leave us alone, haha, right? That's a can of worms. But what do you do then? Alright? What do you do when they don't look shaken? When they look like they're joking around? But they're like, no, he literally won't leave us alone. Oh, I mean, God, it's so awkward, you know? Can you talk to him? What do you do then? Do you kick him out? I don't know. Again, like, you're told to take your best judgment and do what you need to do, you know, with your eyes. You're trained to handle these things, so use your training, look at the situation with your eyes. If something smells off, ask them all to leave. You know? I've done that before. I've had women come up to me saying, and I've seen what's been going on. And they've been all over the men. But as soon as the men start like saying things that they don't like, or maybe taking things a bit too far, they'll then come over to me and be like, oh, he was touching me, and I'm like, no, I saw the entire fucking thing. Alright? You were close to giving him a bloody tuggy underneath the table there. You know? So don't be coming to me like now that he's upset you, that he's touched you inappropriately. Leave. In fact, you can all fucking leave. All at table, gone. Get him out. Toxic, don't want him in here. Sorry, off you go. Right? And I'll keep... Girls, you stay here. Lads, fucking get out. Alright? Once the lads have been gone for half an hour, girls, you fuck off now as well. Right? Don't want you in here. Have had to do that multiple times in bars. Not nice. Not nice. So, be very, very, very careful about adopting blanket, you know, blanket. Everybody, every time I hear this, then this is what has happened. No, mate, use your training, use your eyes, and use your ears. And, you know, you're a barman, or but you were a barman, even though if you're in a gaming bar, right? You're a barman, make sure you're looking at things objectively, and make sure you're making your own judgments. Okay? This is the real world. These are real life people, so you need to be very, very careful. I think you did the right thing, especially when he admitted it. You know, you did the right thing. No, off you go. Right, you've admitted that's what you're doing. All right, get out then. Off you go. No problem with that. Anyway, moving on. Max says, hey North. First of all, thanks for providing the space for us to have a chat. It means a lot to me and others. For a few years, as we rolled into the 2010s, I worked for Games Workshop as a general shop body, a retail assistant in the time when we all wore unflattering blue t-shirts. I think that is what you've said. I think from what you've said that we worked for the company at a similar or at the same times, which is pretty cool. All right, that's cool. I won't go into where this store is, as I'm pretty sure the manager is still there torturing his underlings. At my interview for the job, I went in a good suit, headed into the store, and was directed upstairs to where my potential future manager and some lady from recruitment called Hayley were waiting for me like it was an episode of Dragon's Den or something. Or Shark Tank if you're in the US, I suppose. I must have made a decent impression, as a few weeks later my manager, John, called me and offered me the job. At the interview, he had given me a few weird and uneasy feelings. Nothing truly strange, it's just he was being nice, and you could tell he was reining in his idiocy. His smile never reached his eyes, and every now and again you could tell he was biting his tongue as he really wanted to say something weird or petty but held himself in check. Well, when I first got to the Games Workshop store, that was the day when said weirdness started. It began with weird comments here and there, picking apart the way I dressed. I was smart casual when I went in on my first day, and he told me, and I quote, that, tomorrow you best not turn up looking like a fucking supply teacher, unquote. This said in a nice way with a laugh and a smile, that's funny and disarming, but still get your point across. John said it with a sneer and with no small amount of anger behind it. My heart kind of sank. I'd worked in retail for dickheads before, and it really was a punch in the gut to know that yes, Games Workshop is just the same. Yes, it is. All retail is the same, dude. Games Workshop are not different because they're Games Workshop. John was also really into Crimson Fists, like oddly so. He had a Crimson Fists backpack, as a 35-year-old man. Yeah, that's not a terrible thing in and of itself, but any discussion of lore in the store that resembled Space Marines would result in John sauntering over and telling people about the amazing nonsense that is the Crimson Fists. Don't like Crimson Fists? Fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about and don't deserve to be in the hobby in the first place. Apparently. I once observed John telling an 8-year-old boy that his choice to collect orcs was, and I quote, retarded. Because, and I quote, one Crimson Fist Marine can kill several orcs. Have you not even played fucking Space Marine? Hang on. Isn't it Ultramarines and Space Marine? Right? This guy's fucking an idiot. Yeah. The kid basically walked around the store awkwardly after that and just looked kind of defeated. Oh, dude. Dude, that's horrible. I was on my day off and in the store, so I asked him if he wanted to play a small game with me. He said no, he was alright and just wanted to watch despite being there with his orc army. So instead, I asked to see his army. Sheepishly, he got his shoebox out and showed me his orcs. To be honest, North, I knew this guy's parents and they were not well off. The shoebox said it all. These were second-hand models that he'd stripped and then painted again. And to be honest again, North, they weren't great, but for an 8-year-old, they were bloody spectacular. I'm considered a very good professional painter these days. It's my business. But this kid was not far off at 8 years old, where I was a few months into the hobby at the age of 19. Then John walked past, and I quote, wow, those look like an orc painted them, and in a bad way, dude. He sneers, as he walks past to place some boxes onto some shelves. I am not joking. He was like a fucking pantomime villain at times. This was our first argument, as I turned around and told him the models were amazing for an 8-year-old. Pfft, whatever, dude. I'm going on my lunch. Watch the shop floor. It's not my work day. It's my day off, I said. But he was already gone. This was as bad as John got. But it was still really bad, and I honestly started to really hate the guy, as this was John nearly every single day he was around. A few weeks later, we were upstairs in the storeroom, about to bring down all of John's many armies for Armies on Parade. He wants to do a setup downstairs, showing off all of his armies and on scenery to show people what can be done for Armies on Parade. This is a bit arrogant in my opinion, as he denied me and the other staffer from showing off our own armies, despite the fact that we painted our own armies, and he got his commission painted, so it was not even his work. This guy's a fucking piece of work, dude. This guy's a real prick. This is a real prick right here. Jesus Christ. This guy's such a prick, it's kind of incredible. I'm upstairs. I'm just mooching about having my break when John comes up and demands that I help him bring all of his armies downstairs. I do so, despite being on my break, and I started to take down a few boxes of his stuff down the stairs. As I walked down, I noticed John with the rest of his models, his prized Crimson Fists. All of them are set out on a few gaming boards, all ready to go, and instead of taking them apart and putting them in boxes, he decided to take down the Armies on Parade already on their parade boards. He had 3 in his hands, and as I got to the bottom of the stairs, I turned to see him looking behind him, probably trying to think if he's forgotten anything. And I can see it happening. The pile of boards he's put down at the top of the stairs is teetering, at the top there. I could have run up the stairs to stop them from falling. I would have made it easily. Instead, I prayed for rain and turned away. Then I heard it. The telltale sound of 1 or 2 models rolling down the stairs, and John making a gasping scream. I turned around to see 3 Armies on Parade boards, full of crimson fists, sliding down the stairs and smashing all over the place. The sound of plastic breaking apart and John's childish screams were like fucking music to me. I looked like that guy in Fight Club when the plane breaks apart. I've got to put this on. Hopefully I can find it. Oh my god. Fight Club meme plane break apart. That's so funny. I really do hope it's his face. Oh, I can't find it. It's not on there. Oh my god. That is hilarious. If you've ever seen Fight Club when Ed Norton's sitting in the chair and the plane breaks apart and he wants to die and he looks like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is awesome as everything's flying apart around him. That's how I'm imagining you're looking at. That's brilliant. That's well written. I love that. That's really fucking... That's hilarious. He looked at me when the carnage had ended, and I knew it in his eyes that he knew that I could have saved his models. But I had complete deniability as I acted shocked and saddened and started picking up his models. Good. Good. I love the fact that he looks at you like you saw that happening and you could have stopped that and you didn't. Most of them were either scuffed or broken, and 2 of the boards were just completely smashed. In all, he destroyed about 2 armies worth of Crimson Fists, although many more were unfortunately surviving the fall. Still, seeing him glumly gluing his models back together, or trying to, over the next few weeks downstairs, was an excellent salve on all of our wounds. When we walked out with his broken models, one of the hobby dads who had heard the commotion, Dave, who hated John, feigned commiseration, obviously, and said, "Oh dear, John! What on earth has happened?" "Oh, truly tragic, old sport," as he slapped John's back. You could tell John wanted to kill him. Karma. Sweet and beautiful karma. Thanks for all you do again, North. See you on the Discord. Oh, Max, that's brilliant. I love that. Well, a lovely ending to today's episode. I love it. Absolutely. It will come around. Eventually, it will come around. And you know what? If someone in your life is a right dickhead, guys, I need to say this right now. If someone in your life is a right dickhead, just think, how sad must it be to be them? Being honest. How sad must it be to be them? To be that much of a douche. Because everybody knows they're a douche. Alright? How sad must it be? The problem is when you get the ones who, get away with it. But they will get their comeuppance in the end. They will. I've met people like that before. When I've said to my friends, listen, I don't like this guy. He annoys me. And they go, no, he's great. And then eventually, he ends up doing something weird or nasty down the road, and he gets ostracised by the group that I've since walked away from. And I just want to sit there and go, fucking told you. Because they always get found out in the end. Either that, or they become CEOs, because they're all sociopaths. Anyway, love you all long time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will speak to you tomorrow for some more... it'll be a 40k rant tomorrow where I'm going to talk about my worst day as a Games Workshop manager. I know we've heard from other people about their worst days. We've heard about my worst customer. So tomorrow, I'm going to talk to you about my worst day. It is vivid in my memory. I went over the weekend and wrote it all down, bullet pointed it all of what happened and when on that day. Because it was just one of those days where I got home, I got into the shower, and I just had a bit of a cry. Alright? That's what I did. It wasn't a good day, but it will be very funny to go over tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Have a good one. Love you. Love you a long time. Bye now.